In this video we're just going to look at the eye sensor AF feature on the Panasonic GH6, and actually quite a lot of the other Panasonic cameras have this feature, including the Panasonic GH5, the GH5 MkII, and even actually the GH4 had this feature, and some of the bridge cameras, and even I believe some of the compact cameras have this feature. And essentially what it does is it will activate a focus lock when you look through the eyepiece. So what we'll do is if we just switch the camera on, by default this will be switched off, but if we jump into the camera and you want to be in menu, and then in the cog, in the first part of the menu, into the cog, and then there's an AF menu under that, and it's the focus shutter menu, and then we've got eye sensor eye sensor AF, and then that's switched to off by default. So if we jump into that, we've basically just got on and off. So there's no real options to it. It's just it's just an on and off toggle. So you can have this set as a shortcut to the camera if you want. And I've done a video about mapping buttons for shortcuts. I'll link that up in the corner if you want to kind of see how to do that. But you can kind of jump in, switch that on, and then what will happen is before we do it, we just need to make sure we're using one of the autofocus options up here on the focus dial. And again, I've done a video about the focus dial, so if you don't really know what any of these mean, just jump into that video and it will just give you a quick overview of what's going on this dial. But basically we just need to be set to one of the autofocus options, and then what will happen is when we look into the viewfinder, so it's using this sensor here, and again there's a few different options for how that sensor works, and I'll link again to a video about that if you don't sort of understand it, but we need it so that this sensor is actually active. So when you look into the viewfinder, what will happen, you can see now it's locked focus on what we're actually looking at. So I've got just a sort of center focus going on there, just a 1 point, and you can see it's just locked onto this guy in the middle, and we can go into manual focus and do it again just so you can kind of see it. But it's yeah, what happens is we just look through, but if we change the viewfinder, you can just about hear that's going, because that is just the eyepiece that's working there. So it still works in that mode, but if we have this one where it's locked, you could probably just about see that it's not actually working, so it needs to be in the LVF mode where it's switching between the two. So if we go into manual focus and then we just switch it completely out of focus and then go back to this, you can probably just about see it, it's pulled it into focus again. So it's quite a nice little feature that, you know, you look through the eyepiece and it's just going to give you a quick reference point of, you know, where you're trying to focus, and it's going to use the focusing settings that you're using. So you know, if you've got your focus point off to the left or off to the right, or, you know, different types of focus options going on, it's going to follow what you've told it to do there. And it's worth noting that whichever autofocus option you use here, you know, if you're using single or continuous, the initial view through the viewfinder, that's only going to give you a single focus lock. So as you're looking through the viewfinder, it's not going to continuously keep focusing. So it is just giving you that kind of initial reference point as to a kind of focus. And then from there on, obviously, you can use the shutter to sort of continue to focus, or yeah, however you tend to focus. But it's just going to give you that initial point. And that's it really. It's quite a simple feature, but it can be quite nice in certain situations. So yeah, hopefully you found this useful. If you have, give the video a like. If you want to learn more about the Panasonic GH6, then please check out the playlist on this channel, and subscribe for more content.